Just keep your eyes closed, or as I always say, you can now open your eyes, but always direct your attention to yourself. Even the statement that direct your attention to yourself is limited, because at no time the self is absent for you to direct your attention. Self is always there, yourself always there, always in meditation. Directing your attention means, if you are unconsciously lost in a perception, lost in a thought or a memory, then it is said, direct your attention. Direct your attention to what? That by which you are conscious of, and not to what you are conscious of. Please see that. Directing your attention to that by which you are conscious of everything, and not what all things you are conscious of. It looks like what all things you are conscious of, the sounds of many kinds, the touches of many kinds, the sights of many kinds, the tastes and the smells of many kinds, as though are immediate and effortless. But that is not true, friends, because to be conscious of the sound, your ears must be existing. Listen carefully. To hear a sound, your ears must hear. But to be conscious, your ears are not needed. Just see that, friends. To be conscious, consciousness, self, awareness, Chetana, your ears are not needed. But to be conscious of a sound, your ears are needed. So the sense organs facilitate the perception. Consciousness blesses the sense organs in order to hear, see, taste, touch and smell. And always there is a possibility that the sense organs can be lost. A man can be deaf. Your ears lose their capacity. Your eyes can be blind. The sense of taste can be lost with the tongue scalded by the hot cup of tea or coffee or a soup. The smells can be stopped with the nose stuffed. Your skin can be infected by a disease and your sense of touch can go away. But none of these conditions of the sense organs, whether the ears are deaf, the skin cannot feel, the eyes cannot see, the tongue cannot taste, the nose incapable of recording the smell, reporting the smell, will prevent you from you being yourself, the consciousness. Unconsciously, we have engaged all our attention towards the sense perception, objects of million kinds. The sounds of so many kinds can be heard, but if you want to cut it off, just close your ears. Just close your ears. Sounds are cut off. Sounds cannot enter into you by themselves. They need the gateway, the help of a sense organ. Touches can be cut off by covering the sensor called skin. You cannot feel the softness of the petal, or the hardness of the stone if the fingers are wrapped up with something or other. The ear is one, but reports million sounds. The touching sensation is one, but different sensations, hardness, softness, hot, cold, are so many sensations. You can cut it off all by covering your senses. There are million forms and colors. Eyes, one. It sees. What it sees are a million different things. You can cut them all off by closing your eyes. There are a million tastes. You can cut them off by just closing your mouth. Senses of smell. You can close your nose temporarily, and the sense of touch, the sense of smell, the different types of smells can be cut off. But friends, you cannot cut off the consciousness, either by closing your eyes or opening your eyes. closing your ears or opening your ears, closing your skin, covering your skin or uncovering it. You cannot cut off the consciousness by tasting or not tasting by tongue. You cannot cut off the smells by closing or opening your nostrils. Consciousness, yourself, cannot be cut off. Even the thoughts go into that level. Even your thoughts, those which remind you of everything, you don't have to cut them off. They are fragile. No thought can linger forever. As even no perception can last forever. Your ears can hear. The sound that you heard just now is no more there. It may come back. Even the ears cannot listen forever. The power will be lost. What the ears have heard, those thoughts can linger for some time. Even those can be lost. Memories fade, forgotten. Consciousness always the same. You please see this in relation to every sense organ. This is how you shall recognize and cannot escape the self that you are, consciousness that you are. What the eyes see, the morning, evening, dawn and dusk, the forms and colors of million kinds continuously change. Even the capacity of the eyes to see shall continuously change. One time it may go blind. As Shankara says so nicely, Andatva, Mandatva, Patutva Dharma. In the beginning of our life, the eyes are sharp, Patutva, very sharp. Slowly, Mandatva, they dullens, they become dull. You lose the sharpness of vision. Cataracted, slow weakening of nerves. Then at one time, Andhatva, you may go blind. But in all these three conditions, yourself, the consciousness, always the same. There is no bright consciousness, dull consciousness, and no consciousness. Is the eye of the eyes. And the eyes go through various changing conditions, even to the point of losing its own capacity. Consciousness, always the same. Always the same. In every sight, in every sound, listening, in every touching, tasting and smelling. See that for yourself. Always remains the same. In power of consciousness, there is no vardhate na kanyan, neither it increases or decreases. Always the same. The eyes go on changing. There is no cataract, no dullness, no sharpness of consciousness. That eye, E-Y-E, the eye of the eyes, the third eye. Don't get lost in that third eye. That is the only eye. The other two can be lost. Senses, sensations, perceptions can be lost. The self, the awareness, always there. The dog's barking doesn't prevent the consciousness to illumine the sound. When he stops barking, he doesn't create the consciousness. It's always there, whether dog barks or not, I speak or not, birds sing or not. The same principle applies to every senses. The skin touches or not, eyes see or not, tongue tastes or doesn't, nose smells or not. Consciousness always there. Not only in relation to sense objects, inert, dull sense objects, but also another person in your life. No individual facilitates, creates the consciousness for you. They are relating to you, doesn't create yourself. They are disappearing. Their absence or death do not take away the consciousness. A company is lost. A friend passes. A man or woman. A father or son. Mother or child. husband and wife. They come, they go. None of them bring you in, nor they take you away. With their arrival, you, the self, the consciousness, not created. With their departure, you don't depart. So also in relation to your thoughts. No thoughts can create it. Nothing can create the uncreated, is existing by itself. No thoughts can dismiss it. Thus you can see who you are, uncreated, ever existing. It doesn't depend upon what you are conscious of, but what all things you are not conscious of. Yourself, the consciousness, awareness, doesn't depend upon what it illumines, but all are illumined, are dependent upon yourself, the consciousness, to be grasped by the sense organs, appropriate sense organs. For sounds, you need your ears. For touches, you need your skin. For smells, you need your nose. For taste, you need your tongue. For sights, you need your eyes. But who you are is not a sound, not a sight, not a touch, not a taste or a smell. So gloriously, Upanishads will declare, asabdam, asparsham, arupam, arasam, agandham, nitya sarvata. Asabdam is not a sound to be heard. Asparsham, not a touch to be touched, but an object of touch. Arupam, not a form or color to be seen. Arasam is not a taste to be tasted. Agandham, not a smell to be smelled. Anadi, anantam, mahatah param dhruvam. Anadi has no beginning. Anantam, no end. Adi na vidyate, antam na vidyate. Beginningless, endless. Mahatah param dhruvam. Dhruvam, nishchitam, all the time remains as it is. Nothing can cover it. Mahatah param, the Mahatattva, the total physical universe, subtle universe, gross, subtle creation. Param, beyond it. In it, nothing exists, or everything exists. Dhruvam, Nishchitam, always remains the same. Nothing can dismiss it. It doesn't need to be created because ever existing. Tannichaya, Nishchayana Gyatva, knowing that for sure, as to who you are. Enachiketas, Mrityumukhat Pramuchyate. Yamaraj reveals and bring into any Upanishad. It's not the Upanishads or the statements reveal the truth. The truth is always there. They talk about it. A series of verses make a book or a booklet. Five verses, 6 verses, 1,000 verses. Out of that you can take selected verses and make another name, another book. But please understand, verses, words do not produce the reality yourself. Knowing which Mrityumukhat Pramuchyate. You are freed from the riches of death, the time. Anything in time shall pass. That is how perceptions will pass, perceiver will die. The roles that the eye takes will die, as when the eye thought is. A fragile entity has no existence of its own. Immortality, inescapable. Mortality you can escape. How do I escape mortality? See mortality where it belongs. Body is mortal. Perceptions, sensations, thoughts, ideas are mortal. They were not there, they shall not be there. They go unchanging. If you identify with those things, you drag the mortality onto yourself. You cannot change the mortal to immortal. Don't try to make the body immortal. Relationships, sensations, they shall pass. The I thought, identifying with all these conditions, considers himself mortal, agitated, frightened, lost in this universe. What you do, don't let this I not delude itself to change the condition, the mortal condition of the body to be immortal. You can never change the mortal condition of the body. You can extend the mortality. The I, which is finding the shelter in different objects, including your body and mind, when that disappears in the awareness of your being, who you are, in the universal source, the self, the consciousness. No more there is somebody to struggle. Understand, friends? The struggle belongs to the I thought. That is the only one which struggles. the universe, the creation of sounds, taste, touch, smell, sights. Nothing struggles in this universe. They are. They are part of the celebration called creation. Body doesn't struggle. Body doesn't crave immortality. Senses do not crave for sensations. Thoughts do not crave for continuity or immediate discontinuity. It is the I who struggles, not being aware of itself. So see that, friends. Take each one of these statements, see the truth of it. You are the truth, the Absolute. And that self, you can call it masculine, Shiva, feminine, Shivani, Bhavani, neuter, Brahman, Paramatma, Chetana. That is the Deva, the Devi, the light of lights. Because of this Deepam camp, I'm using that light imagery. Dyatanatmakam Devam, the light of lights. Call it Deva, masculine, Devi, feminine. Always there. You can be reminded of yourself using those words, masculine, feminine, neuter presentations, thoughts of any kind. Everything can remind you of yourself, because no perception is possible without your involvement, consciousness being there. The ears cannot hear unless you are conscious. That is why in your every thought, every perception, you are resplendent, bright, light of lights. In Lalita Sahasranam, Mother's name is beautiful. Bhavani Bhavanagamya, Bhavaranya Kutarika. O Mother, Bhavani. The whole universe, bhuva, to be, to become. The whole creation, call it Shiva or Shivani, Bhava or Bhavani. Bhavana Gamya, it can be seen through every bhavana, every thought. As when you cannot see a mountain without the space surrounding it. You cannot listen to a sound without the silence surrounding it. You can never have a thought without the consciousness sheltering it, surrounding it. So in every thought, every perception, every sensation, you are there. Always as the self. Therefore, bhavana agamya. In every thought you can recognize. The thoughts do not delude you. The I thought itself is a delusion. Meaning, a meaningless existence. Meaningless means you don't need to say I for you to exist or anything else to exist. Please see that clearly. Close or opening your eyes, choice is yours. You don't need this I to say I see, to see or to be conscious, to think or to be conscious, to be alive, to be dead or to be mortal. I thought is not required except for the transaction with the world. And that's a very beautiful role to play. It helps you to talk, communicate, discuss. You engage it. A beautiful slave, not a master. It can't be a master. You are enslaved by making the slave a master. It's not the mistake of the slave. It's not the mistake of the body or the senses. The creation, gross physical universe, or the subtle thoughts of any kind, for you to be deluded. They don't cause a delusion. They don't cause liberation, enlightenment, awakening. That is why jnanam, knowledge of yourself, once you see, bhavani bhavanagamya. A masculine, neuter, feminine, in whichever way you like, invoke it, see it. And that will bhavaranya kutarika. Bhavani bhavanagamya. Bhavaranya kutarika. Kutarika, an X, A-X-E, an X. Bhavaranya kutarika, an axe for the jungle of the universe. It can cut it down completely. That is why samsara bruksha, the tree of the creation, and bruksha because brashyanad bruksha, that which can be cut down, is so fragile. You are giving it life when it is continuously disappearing. So never hold anybody responsible for your misery, your pain and conflict, your death or disaster, your living or luxury. It all depends on you. Always in meditation. When I stop talking, there are no sounds, your ears have nothing to hear. And ears don't complain. Consciousness illumines it all. That doesn't complain. But the I thought will say, why there is no sound? oh, it's so quiet, or it is so noisy. It's the I, individuality, which drowns itself in its own delusion. And that too you are conscious of. The I thought is not conscious, but you are conscious of the I thought. See these things instantaneously. It's a timeless ground where everything is sheltered, including the I thought. Be the self. You have no choice. Be the meditation. You can't escape. Just keep your eyes closed for a few minutes. And then slowly open your eyes if you have closed it. And recognize, with eyes closed and eyes open, you are the same, with thoughts present, thoughts absent. You are the same reality, all times, all places, in all conditions. The festivities begin and end. Life begins and ends. Your living begins and ends. Your thinking begins and ends. You, the self, beginningless, endless, anadi anantam, mata param dhruvam, Nishchidam, always same. Immortality is your nature. Mrityumukhat pramuchyate. The person freed from mortality, because eternally free. Immortality cannot be destroyed by anything. There is nothing other than it. Time is dead in the timeless existence. Why killing time? Let the creation exist. Let time, space exist. We are nobody to let them exist. They are there. You just disappear. The I thought, individuality. The self cannot disappear. In the self and the creation, only one thing, I. Know its secret, understands its fragile nature. And the entire universe, name and forms, nameless, formless, everything is a continuous blessing. Be that all times. Thank you.